So welcome to the informational webinar about our City Guilds Diploma in Digital Marketing. We always use this webinar tool and we check everybody can hear before we start recording, and we always have a chat area that you can use for questions. Now, a few introductions. My name is Mary Thomas. I own and run Concise Training. I've been using social media since 2009 and have taught hundreds of businesses and individuals to use it in that time. I've also written a book, Social Media Made Simple, which you'll hear about later. And we were involved, along with Di, in writing a lot of the units and criteria for this qualification. Alongside Concise Training, I have a sister company, Concise Digital, in which we actually practice what we preach. So we manage social media and digital marketing on behalf of clients, and we give some of those examples, obviously in a confidential way, through our training, and we keep up to date with everything that's going on in social media so that we can apply it to our client work. Now, Di has got her mic on mute, but I'm going to give her a couple of minutes now to introduce herself so you know her voice.
Hello, yes, hi. My name is Di Dawson, and alongside Mary, I'm the trainer and assessor for the diplomas that we run and other courses. And I've been in business for, I think, probably 20 plus years, and probably longer. And my strengths are much more towards the creative side and also in business. And yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out more about you.
Thank you, Di. So just so that people on live know, if your sound is suffering, it's a good idea to turn off any background programs, email, social media, Dropbox, etc., to give your bandwidth a chance. And that's one of the reasons why we're not putting our webcams on today, because it sometimes does affect the sound quality. So before we show the contents of this webinar, it's a good idea to have a look at what makes us different, what are our unique selling points compared to other digital marketing courses and other qualifications that are available currently. City Guilds is an internationally recognised qualification, and they invited myself and I to write the standards of the qualification around about 4 or 5 years ago now. It is an approved and recognised qualification, and City Guilds, as you may know, is a brand known around the world. And in fact, it was the first awarding body to listen to employers' demands for a qualification that recognised the skills and understanding required to use social media within the marketing of a business. Now, this diploma does look at developing your understanding about topics, but we make the delivery practical and relevant to the real world. So the programme consists of practical tasks to ensure that learners are putting your new learning into practice. So it is a portfolio-based course. There is no exam at the end. I believe strongly that this shouldn't be a memory test. So it's all around creating a portfolio of evidence. All of our materials are up to date. Every 6 months, we update all of our e-learning courses to keep pace with the ever-changing world of social media. And we update our webinars every time we run them. And every month, I also share an update document to learners, which gives the latest news and changes to any of the channels and tools that we suggest. Our support is something that we pride ourselves in. We're going to talk about it again later, but it's all about giving constructive feedback that's relevant to learners' situation and context, and being as flexible as we can within the bounds of the course. We have qualified assessors, and there is a quality assurance process that ensures we remain consistent in our delivery and assessment. We have also get quality assured by City and Guilds. So today we aim to show you the details about the programme and an overview of the key outcomes. We'll talk about the training and learning element of this 15-month programme. We outline how you provide us evidence of what you know and can do, and how you receive feedback. We hope to answer some of the questions you have in mind, but do drop questions into the chat pane and we'll either reply immediately or make sure that we do respond during the webinar. And at the end, we'll also ask for and answer questions. Obviously, if you prefer not to answer questions in front of the group, you can email myself, Mary, after the webinar, or I should say that we also have a representative from Advantage Caribbean Institute, our Caribbean partners, with us, Gregory Blackett, and he's more than happy to take any questions from our Caribbean learners or Caribbean people that are interested. So let's get going with the webinar. The digital marketer can have wide-reaching responsibilities and can be expected to take on a number of key roles within a business. Now, they may be quite involved in social media marketing for the business. You may be involved in developing strategies to increase the number of visitors to the website. Digital marketers also create images and content for the website and for social channels and often write regular blogs. Some digital marketers might work within a team supporting the digital marketing campaigns or other marketing projects. But some may take on the sole responsibility of digital marketing for the business, and it will really depend on how big the business is that you're working with. Here's a brief overview of all the topics we cover within the Diploma for Digital Marketing. Some of these roles that you're bound to be doing currently in your job as a digital marketer, assuming you're in one, you may find you also have other roles. It's worth saying at this stage that we do offer a different qualification called the Diploma in Social Media for Business. Now that covers a lot of what you see on here, but it doesn't cover websites, it doesn't cover video, it doesn't cover email marketing, and it doesn't cover principles of marketing, some of the theories behind marketing that we cover in the digital marketing course. If you aren't interested in that one, let us know and we can send you the details of that course. Now, Di is going to give you more information.
Thanks, Mary. Yeah, you are expected to have a business to work with, either your own or access to one, because we find this qualification is best learnt by practical implementation of what we're teaching you, both with respect to channels as well as thinking about perhaps target audience and buyer personas and business brand and values. However, we realise that not everybody will be able to use the channels of the business they work with, so we're flexible and we have a number of options. You might want to see if a friend or a charity has a business you could work with during the course. That can work quite well. You could set up an ideal business that you would like to set up and run eventually and use that as an example, and many of our learners do that. Some people, for example, set up social media consultancy businesses that they can use to show best practice. And the third option is you could use a combination of business, if you're answering questions about audience and competition, but excuse me, but when you're showing evidence of using the social media tools, you could use your own private account. So a business is quite essential, really, so that you can take the best advantage of the course. Now, we're also going to be asking you to examine your business or the business, and we want you to examine competitors, other businesses, and respond to a number of scenarios. We examine how to develop relationships with customers, with suppliers, and other influencers and stakeholders, so that they know about the business and what value it provides. In our e-learning materials, we present to you various scenarios, such as Hillary's hairdressing salon, Kevin's sports shop, Desi's events management business, Tim's virtual assistant business, and a lot more. And in each webinar, we look at Fred. Now, Fred is the bottom left image, and he has an organic farm shop in Oxfordshire. So we find out about his business at each webinar. And then what we do is we relate the topics to his business. Now, these scenarios and our explanations, we feel, do help our learners. And over the next few slides, we show in an orange box the standards within the qualification, that's the City Guilds. And at induction, you will have access to all the criteria to read through if you wish to. To accompany this topic, there's an e-learning modules. Now that's shown in the purple box on slides. And we look at introduction to business principles. And it is an introduction to business, but again, our learners find that quite useful. Of course, we look at the principles of marketing, and you're going to be shown models to help produce various strategies and documents for the business. You'll look at the business's marketing strategy and carry out a marketing audit. You'll determine what marketing needs to be carried out and find out what's working. So you'll be looking at measurement to determine the return on investment and consider any actions that you're going to take. So that's a very involved but very useful topic. Now, there are many models and methods to use, and don't worry if you're somebody who doesn't like theories and models. We're happy to explain, and we have lots of templates and examples. And one particular document you produce is a social media strategy document for the business. And you'll have a template to complete at various stages throughout the course. Now, we use the term digital marketing as this is the promotion of products or brands via one or more forms of electronic media. And of course, social media is one such electronic media, albeit a very important one. And it is a good focus of this course. You'll look strategically at the main channels and set up or review what you use, and we'll see how they relate to your digital marketing strategy. And you may be surprised to find a channel that you're not using already. We'll look strategically at all the main channels, and you're going to make a decision about what works best for the business. The course is ideal for anyone who uses social media already, but would like to know a lot more. As time is precious, you'll be using various tools to help manage social media for the business, not just followers and conversations, but all the content that you share as well. And of course, the content has to be optimized too, so readers and viewers can find the content and follow your business. You'll want to obtain their interest and maintain it with great conversation. So we'll look at ways to help you make the best out of content you produce so you can amplify the message to reach a wider audience. So here you're going to have access to quite a number of e-learning modules. Okay, and then now we think about the topic of keywords, and this is mentioned many times throughout the course as it is important. You know, we think about what they are, why use them, and how they help the optimization process. Optimization is so that people can find your business. Now we look at search engine optimization, and that's the art of enabling our website and content so it can be found in search. And we also look at social media optimization. That's the practice of enhancing and improving your profile so that people can find your business, but also to encourage engagement with your audience. And you can see there's an introduction to SEO e-learning for this topic. One of the main projects is to create a WordPress website with a blog. You'll look at ways to ensure the website is accessible to a wide range of web users and plan the website to include well-designed content for the audience. Now you'll be looking at analytics to check if your website is actually attracting visitors and where they go and what do they look at and how long do they stay. And there are 3 useful e-learning modules to support this project. And you've got WordPress, and you've got blogging and analytics, which is wrapped up inside WordPress. But of course, the introduction to SEO is also essential to help you optimize the website. Now you'll be finding out about content marketing. You're going to create a range of content, such as blog posts, social media updates, graphics, video. Now, creating copy means developing your writing skills, so you can use different styles for different purposes. We aim to give you guidance about this if it isn't your strength, and not everybody can write good copy. Of course, this content has to be optimized so readers and viewers can find the content and follow your business. There's not much point producing a lot of superb content if nobody can find it. We're encouraging you to use a content schedule to help manage the creation of content and release to different channels. And we look at ways to make the best out of content. As this course does require you to be in a business or have good access to one, you can see that if you're producing content and developing relationships with your audience, you'll clearly need to know a lot about the business. So that's something to think about if you're working with someone other than where you're working. Statistics suggest that images are shared multiple times greater than content without, so we stress the need for a digital marketer to understand how images can be used in social media updates, blog content, on the website, and in digital advertising campaigns. So throughout the course, there's a chance to be creative. You'll be producing images for your profiles, your updates, the website, campaigns. So we're going to be looking for a skill in image editing. And again, that might be something that's a challenge for you, and we're here to help. It's amazing also to consider the statistic about video. Video marketing has a tremendous advantage for business. If you have a video on the website, it can increase conversion rates by 80%. Or 92% of mobile video consumers share videos with others. So you're going to be planning and creating a video, ideally for the business, but if it's appropriate, but do bear in mind the statistics we show you before dismissing if the creative challenge is a bit too much. So we're going to encourage you to do it for the business, but it could well be for another purpose. What we're looking for is video editing skills. So to help and inspire you, there are e-learning materials, and again, images for business and video is there to help you. And one of the creative topics is to produce digital advertising campaigns to a target audience. We look at the principles of advertising and sales promotion and consider the legal requirements in marketing products and services in the UK and worldwide. You'll create email newsletters, a social network campaign, and a voucher campaign. So one thing we encourage is to keep an eye out on all the campaigns you can see to get inspiration. You don't actually have to launch the campaigns unless you wish to, but you just need to get it ready for publishing. And again, there's an e-learning object for that. We're going to be pausing in a short while for questions, but I'll hand over to Mary, who's going to look at the remaining topics.
Thank you, Di. Sorry, I didn't mute my mic earlier. So you'll have the opportunity to examine how mobile marketing fits in with your marketing strategy. Mobile marketing is incredibly important now, and you're going to explore what is available beyond smartphones, beyond phone marketing, what technology can offer, the limitations for mobile marketing and apps, and you'll look at location-aware apps for marketing purposes. It's really interesting how that mobile technology is changing. Now, as you know, content will need to be optimized for mobile, so you're going to compare mobile with desktop optimization. Obviously, it will be an advantage to have a mobile device or access to a mobile device for this task. And as you can see, there is an e-learning module looking at mobile marketing, a really rapidly changing area in the marketing world. Now, an interesting topic is looking at the benefits of social bookmarking and content curation. You'll also have to want to think about having a good reputation. Clearly, a good reputation is important for the business. You'll want to know who is saying what about the business, and if it does turn nasty, think about how you can respond. So we're going to ask you to consider what it means to manage your reputation online, and also examine the legal issues, especially around the production of content, what you can do, what you can't do, around copyright and plagiarism. You're also going to be producing a risk analysis and then a plan to manage any crisis. And you're also going to produce a social media policy for the business, which is incredibly important, but not everybody has. Every learner will receive a copy of Social Media Made Simple, which is the book that I wrote, which contains many helpful checklists and templates. It's a reference book for you. It's a bonus for you to complete as you like throughout the course. It's not something that we assess, but it's something that you can take away and help discuss some of the theories that we talk about with others. We cover most of the topics in that book within the Social Media Strategy e-learning module as well. As you progress through the course, you're going to be using a template of a social media strategy, and we ask you to complete that at various points in the programme so that you end up with a social media strategy for the business that you're working with. So In summary, some of the key outcomes of a social media strategy and a policy, a search engine optimization review, a marketing audit, including competitor analysis, crisis management plan, website development, an email newsletter campaign, digital advertising campaigns. You'll have optimized social media channels. You'll understand mobile marketing and how it can be used. And all the way through, we could turn to the topic of measurement and analytics. Now, it's quite a broad range of subjects that we cover, but we have found that learners have gone on to create their own consultancies, improve their own businesses, or get promoted or new jobs within their current roles, often partway through the course, based on what you're learning in each of these topics. Now, there is quite a lot of content to deliver over the 15 months, and I'm sure you already have some knowledge and confidence about some of the topics already, but I'm sure there'll be some gaps to fill. So what we're going to do next is look at the training methods and assessment. But before we continue, please let us know if you have any questions. Now, if you don't have any questions, if you can just put into the chat area that you don't have any questions, but you're still there, that would be very helpful. So at least we know that you're still out there. Thank you, Greg. I'm glad you're still there. Hopefully, Rosemary can continue to hear us too. Okay, great. So, how do we learn? There are 19 webinars at scheduled dates, usually one every 3 weeks or so. We try to avoid Christmases and Easter and things like that. So it's not absolutely every 3 weeks. We use AnyMeeting, which is the tool that we're using now for the webinars. AnyMeeting does have a mobile app, so if you need to access on a tablet or an iPad, that'll be fine. It doesn't work particularly well on a phone as you can't see the slides. You can use the phone to dial in and listen, but obviously the slides do form part of the learning. So the purposes of the webinar is to have a chance to receive live input, to hear fresh material. We'll always give you up-to-date news about the topics that are going on at the moment, about how social media channels are changing. And we also provide tips and advice before you start each assignment. And the aim of the webinars is to make sure you're well prepared to start the assignments and have that touch base. So obviously you can ask any questions. Attendance is mandatory, either live attendance or view of the recording. And the recording links are shared after each webinar. And you can go back and have a look at them. And what some of our learners will do is attend live and then go back and look at the recording as well. So we do tend to cover quite a lot in the webinars. But as I say, that the webinars are live. The thing to be aware of is that we always give out times based on UK time. So currently the UK is 4 hours ahead of the Caribbean, but by the end of March, the UK will be 5 hours ahead of the Caribbean, just through the summer period. We will issue a schedule at induction showing the topics of each webinar and dates so that you can put those in your diary. Now, we talked a little about the e-learning modules. There are 17 e-learning modules available to you, around about 180 hours of learning, and you will access you can access them at any time. You can go back and access them again, and you get access for 3 months after completion of the course. We ask you at the end of each webinar to access a particular course. So you're not, you are drip fed these, if you like, over the course of the 15 months. And so at the induction on the 12th of March, once we've done the webinar, we'll ask you to start with an Introduction to Business course. So I'm just going to look inside the Twitter for Business course just to see what you can expect. So once you click on that module, you are met with 3 objects. Clicking on any of these links will open an object which opens it in a new tab. Now, navigation is easy. You can see that there's a menu on the left and there's a next and previous button at the bottom right. This one shows object 3 of the Introduction to Search Engine Optimization course. Some of our slides will contain text, some images, some sound files, videos, resources, templates to download, and many activities and exercises. On this slide, there's a sound file and a button to find out more information. We'll have many interactive slides as well. So this example shows a prompt so that you can note down your ideas before clicking on the button and hearing our answers. We also have many scenarios with similar prompts to note ideas before revealing a suggestion. And the idea is for you to be able to relate what you're being taught to lots of different types and sizes of businesses, so that you're thinking beyond your actual business. The exercises are, however, for your learning. They don't form part of the assessment, but they are just to reinforce your learning. This is a structured learning course, and we use the correct methodologies for that. Many of the objects will include slides with video. So you can click on the slide to view, or you can actually click on the button to see a larger version of the video. Many of those videos are instructional how-to videos with myself or one of my team giving instructions as we show you what to do. So many people like to watch the video on one tab and follow along in another tab side by side. The modules are suitable to access on iPad and other tablets, but again, it might be quite tricky on a small screen mobile phone. You simply need an internet connection. So Di is going to take you through the learning area.
Thank you, Mary, and welcome to Shanice, who's just joined us. We are recording, so we will be able to share the link afterwards. Yes, well, we have an online diploma area on Concise Online. You'll be directed via the home page to a virtual classroom, and you're going to belong to Group G, and the link will be available at induction. So if you sign up with us and start, we'll have an induction in March, and you will then get access to the classroom. What we're doing now is having a peek inside Group F, well, actually I think it says Group E. And what you'll find is this is a place to pick up the schedule. It's also a place to access, or there's a link through to the Facebook group that you can connect to the Concise Training Facebook group. It's a great way to communicate with the entire group of learners. And it's a place also to pick up links to the webinar. And all webinars are recorded, and we present the links a short time after the live session. Scrolling down on the same page, there are links to the e-learning modules and to further reading. And this is also a place where you pick up the assignment documents that become available to download at each webinar date. And there's a link to the portfolio area where you can upload the assignments. Now there are 18 assignments to complete, plus 3 projects and 1 piece of research. In assignments, you'll find we ask for some short answers, lengthier comments. You might need to complete a table, respond to a scenario, give links to research sites, take screen prints, a whole range of things. And we might ask you to upload other files, such as voice recordings, but we certainly want you to upload images, because that's a key part of the course. The questions are designed to draw out the full understanding of the topics, so you can demonstrate your knowledge and skills. And when we ask for answers, we might ask for a list, but predominantly we need full explanation, analysis, comparison, and your opinion. And we ask for a good standard of English expression and quality of work, so we can understand what you are expressing. Of course, if a question doesn't make any sense, we of course are available to rephrase for you or explain further. You can be asked to carry out research, mostly online, but you might find that you need to talk to people in the business. And of course, as you progress, we ask you to carry out practical tasks, which show that you can put the theory into practice. And you can see here that there's individual feedback and constructive comments on the assignments and the projects, including your WordPress website. And that feedback to assignments is given inside the portfolio, and we try to turn it around within 2 to 3 working days. It may be a little bit longer, but it's not too long to wait. We give quite detailed feedback, so it's clear how well you're progressing, and we take an interest in our learners so we can help them become confident in supporting their business in the approach to using digital and social media marketing. So it's a relationship. And here's a list of some of the assignment topics. As you've heard some topics already, some are asking you to be creative and some drawing on your knowledge and understanding. And over the period of time, over the 15 months, you're going to have a nice mixture of creative and some theory. And as mentioned, we've got 3 projects which have a slightly different feel. Project 1 is carrying out a team task. So that's something about organising others in a meeting for a purpose. Project 2 is one that's carried out over an 8 months roughly period of time. This is the website creation using WordPress. Ideally, but you could use a content management system of your own choice if you wish to. Project 3 has 2 parts, and you'll tackle this towards the final part of the course. This is a marketing audit, and then followed by a marketing strategy. Now you do this around a scenario, and all the skills you've learned in the course can be transferred not just to this project, but also the activity of doing the audit and marketing strategy can translate to any business situation. The research task is looking at some research into employment law and digital marketer roles in a business. So nice ones to get your teeth into, and they're carried out in parallel to the assignments. Now, we've talked about the webinar training, we've peeked inside the e-learning, we've looked at the diploma area and assignments. Obviously, we're going to go into a lot more detail at an induction if you sign up. All learners receive a learner pack at induction with all of the details that's needed. But again, we'll just pause and see if you've got any questions about the training and the learning before we move on to how much time is all this going to take you. So if you want to pop into the chat pane, if you've got any questions based on what we've covered just now. I appreciate, Shanice, you haven't heard a lot, but you'll be able to access the recording. Okay, so great. So no questions so far. We'll carry on, but we'll pause at the end anyway to see if you've got questions. Now, how much time will you need to spend each week? Well, we feel that this is quite a tricky question to answer, as it does depend on your starting point. However, you do need to have enough time to absorb the information and learning in order to show evidence to us against City and Guilds criteria. So you'll need to plan for the time to attend the webinars, as Mary said, usually about 3 to 4 weeks apart. And if you haven't attended live, obviously the time to view the recording. You need time to access the e-learning, and we give you an idea of how many hours per module we think it should take. We don't suggest you work solidly through every entire module. So there's kind of like that time management to manage the access to the e-learning. You'll need time to read and follow up links or do research, and you need time obviously to do the practical tasks, and some are going to be lengthier than others. You need time to do the assignments, of course, to write it, to proofread, to check and upload. And, if we ask for resubmission, then you need time to do that. And you need time also to touch base with us. We try to have tutorials as often as we can. But time management is key, and we do suggest 10 hours a week, but this could be more, it could be less, depending on your skills and gaps to fill. If time management isn't a good strength of yours, then you need to obviously ask for our help, and we can help you. So we recommend this time is spread throughout the week. So spending 2 hours a day is likely to be more productive than trying to cram it into one full day. But, you know, it's quite a lot to manage, and that's why we suggest that you can ask for help in terms of time management tips and hints. So I'm going to hand over to Mary, who's going to do the last few slides.
Thank you. So if you haven't experienced an online course before, you might need more support from us to keep you motivated and on task, and that's absolutely fine. We aim to give you as much support as you require. We also aim to give you constructive feedback throughout, so you should clearly know how you're progressing. Feedback is within the portfolio, but of course we keep in touch by Skype, phone, WhatsApp, email, whatever works for you. We do our best to send out a monthly progress email giving you details about what you've achieved and what's needed for the coming month. And we find that all our learners value this touch. Now, we are aware that this programme moves at a fairly fast pace, so some of our learners do feel overwhelmed occasionally. Or you might feel that you're slipping behind. So we just ask you to drop an email or call us as soon as possible, and we will find ways to help you. If necessary, there are alternative ways to provide some evidence, which might be more manageable for you. For some parts of an assignment, it's possible for a learner to record the evidence or provide a screen animation, for example, or it might be necessary just to have a phone call discussion or even a private webinar like we're doing here. We do carry out an induction process at the start of the course, and during that we have a call with each of our learners to introduce ourselves, but also to find out more about their role, what business they're in, and how they like to learn and be contacted, and to start that relationship going. And of course, almost all learners connect with us on social media too, so we feel we continue our relationship way beyond the course. Now, clearly, we have some expectations of learners, which don't appear to be there, but we expect you to have a good understanding of what social media is. However, if you only use Facebook currently, that's fine. We'll be asking you to work through the e-learning materials to find out about all the main channels to help fill the gaps. You'll be finding out how to use the various channels for business purposes. Often aspects of the channels you might not have used or even knew about were there. We do ask you to go through all of the courses, therefore. We also expect you to manage your learning process, so we want you to keep an eye on dates, webinars, and when assignments are to be submitted. And mainly, we ask you to keep in touch and communicate with us if you have questions about assignments, or if you know you'll be away from your desk and not able to attend webinars. And likewise, we'll do our utmost to communicate with you. And really, we want you just to put what you learn into practice. You'll be needing to carry out practical tasks to put your new knowledge into practice. You'll need to use social media, and as part of the programme, we'll be monitoring that so that we can give you relevant feedback. My aim really is to make sure that you can learn from this course and progress and do with it what you want to do with it, whether that's to get a new job, whether it's to set up your own consultancy, whether it's to work with others on social media, or whether it's to promote your own business. And we have learners that are doing this course that are doing each of those things. And you will clearly have expectations of us. And as we get to know you, you'll be able to tell us what you'd like to achieve from the course. Now, thinking about the benefits of doing it with us, obviously a big benefit is that you can learn online. You get the flexibility of learning when you want. Learners Learners access to e-learning materials all times of the day and night, partly because they are worldwide, but partly because they need to fit it around what's going on in their lives and their busy schedules. And 2 a.m. is not unusual for our learners to access those materials. Now, we do give that personal and constructive feedback many questions we ask about your business or the business that you're working with. So therefore, the response from us has to be relevant to that business. And that's what I think Di and I both get out of this course ourselves, is by helping you grow within your own business. I have been doing this for a long time. I have written books, a number of publications. I've delivered at conferences and events. Some of you may have seen me and Di deliver at the Barbados event last week. I've shared my knowledge and my skills in the e-learning materials and in the webinars. Di's strengths are particularly in mobile technologies, video and image editing. And again, she's shared those knowledge and skills in the e-learning materials. And you can see, we'll see a great deal of us in those e-learning materials because we have created them. You're getting it from the horse's mouth. We share many templates and useful documents, including the basis of a social media policy and social media strategy. It's an ideal opportunity for you to really expand your practical skills using a range of social media channels. This course has been described by one of my learners as essential for life skills. The course aims to give you theories and principles so you'll know why you're doing what you're doing as well as how. And fundamentally, you'll get that significant support and you'll continue to be connected with us beyond the course, as well as have access to the materials after the course too. And the Diploma in Digital Marketing is a recognised City Guilds accredited qualification, which will add to your skills and showcase your experience. Now on this slide, you obviously can see the UK cost. The Advantage Caribbean cost will be different from that, and Gregory will be contacting you after this webinar with details of payment in the Caribbean. The slide there says over 165 hours of e-learning. That needs to be updated to 180 hours of e-learning because in the last update the courses were increased in size because more functionality has been added by the channels. So I think it's really worth saying, as I mentioned before, that some of the learners that have done this course, I want to give you a couple of those stories before I finish. We had one learner start the course with us last month. She wanted to do the course to learn how to promote her new business, which was in electric bicycles. She started the course with us. She put into practice what we were teaching her in the first 2 months. She then had to pause the course because her business took off overnight, which she says is down to what she learnt in the course. So just to give you an idea, her target was in the first year to sell 30 e-bicycles, which are about £5,000 sterling each. She sold 80 of them in the first year. And she puts that growth down to a lot of what she learnt by talking to me and what she learnt in the course. She's now restarted the course so that she can make even more better changes. Another one of our learners from the Caribbean actually has got another job on the back of doing this course. Another learner who's doing this course started a mountain biking group, which was something that she was passionate about and she wanted to do. So there are lots of different ways that you can learn from doing this course and you can benefit from doing this course. So I just wanted to share some of those stories with you. So what next? So if you're in the UK or in the Middle East, please email me and I'll be contacting people that I know about. If you're in the Caribbean, please contact Advantage Caribbean Institute. The next course starts on the 12th of March. We have 6 places left at the moment on that course. We have a small number of people on the course to allow us to give that personal tuition. So it'd be great to have you guys as 2 of those 6 places. It will be at 2 p.m. UK time. As I said, there's always a certain confusion at the end of March when the UK clocks change, but it'll be 2 p.m. UK time, which currently is 10 a.m. Caribbean time, but will, following that webinar in April, be 9 a.m. Caribbean time. At induction, you'll receive a learner pack and loads of relevant information to get started. I'm happy to take any questions now through the chat pane, but I'm going to stop the recording so that anybody who's just listening to this doesn't have to listen to me asking for questions. But I hope to talk to you soon.